The quality of a Casablanca is easy to see, and Casablanca is proud of that quality. Our goal is to put it into all of our products. Our pride also shows in how we stand behind our products. Our warranty is the best in the business. But warranty is an important partnership between us and our dealers. To keep our warranty the valued benefit that it is, we find ourselves being real sticklers on a couple of important points. Proof of purchase is one of those points. Before we can process a warranty request, we must have proof of purchase. This provides us with all the information needed to establish the type of warranty coverage, and the sales receipt must show that the fan is a genuine Casablanca. Surprised? Well, because so many other manufacturers try to copy the look of a Casablanca, there are actually more people who believe they own a genuine Casablanca than actually do. We will be doing our part to have your customers putting genuine Casablancas in their homes. You can help by encouraging them to keep their proof of purchase. Another important part of the warranty partnership is the field service that also backs up our products. The comprehensive service documentation in the blue binder is your key to successfully servicing any Casablanca fan. All that you need to know about servicing a Casablanca is in this book, and Casablanca will keep the book up to date as new models are added to the line. With the help of this manual and an up-to-date service parts inventory, virtually all repairs can be made in the home without the need to return the fan to the shop or to Casablanca. If you look in Section 2 of the manual, you can see how to establish the warranty status of any fan. Before contacting Casablanca, follow the steps to identify the fan you are servicing and the warranty coverage that applies. In addition to the purchase date, we must know the serial number and the model number. This information will help us match electronics and colors. Well, that's all there is to it. But remember, nothing will happen without the information requested in the manual. Section 2 also covers how an authorization number, or RGA, can be obtained for warranty repairs. Without these numbers, there can be no reimbursement for services, so pay particular attention to this section. In Section 3, titled Policies and Procedures, issues such as inventory consignment, emergency part orders, returning defective parts, completing worksheets, and placing purchase orders for parts are all covered. There's also a section which shows you a dealer cost on all components to be used for out-of-warranty service, along with a suggested retail price guideline. The next section includes test procedures which should allow you to quickly troubleshoot a problem fan to solve any service problem. Please note there's also a section with a complete parts list for each Casablanca model. When parts are needed from the factory, referring to them by the listed part numbers can greatly speed the process. Warranty and customer service are an important part of our relationship with the Casablanca buyer. You can help by following these few important steps. We thank you for watching our video, and thanks for keeping Casablanca out front. Hello, I'm Ed Hart for Casablanca, and in a few minutes I'll be taking you on a step-by-step installation of a Casablanca ceiling fan. We not only make the finest ceiling fan, but I think you'll soon agree that a Casablanca fan is simple to install and use. Now let's go to our demonstration room and see an actual installation. Well, here we are in our demonstration room. And this is Bob, our technician, who'll be doing the actual installation. Now, as Bob has already done, make sure you've turned off all electrical power at the circuit breaker or fuse box. Failure to do so could result in electrical shock. Now, a word about the location of the fan. If the installation is on a high ceiling or a slope ceiling, then you'll need an extension pole. But here's an important point to remember. Mount a ceiling fan too close to a wall or slope ceiling and you're likely to have wobble problems. What can happen is that airflow near the wall or ceiling generates turbulence, causing the fan to wobble. The solution is to locate the fan away from the wall, or if it's a slope ceiling, just add a longer extension rod. With or without an extension pole, you will need a ceiling wiring box. Whether you use an existing box, install a new one yourself, or have one installed, make sure the ceiling box is approved for use with ceiling fans. The wiring box must meet all local codes. Your Casablanca dealer can help you select the right type. Your Casablanca dealer can also supply Casablanca's Fan Fast Mounting Kit, which is Underwriter's laboratory approved for ceiling fan mounting. Since the majority of Casablanca fans are installed to replace an existing light fixture, that's the installation we will see. Once you've determined that you have a complete set of parts, it's time to start the installation. Begin by mounting the crossbar mounting plate to the ceiling wiring box using the 2 metal screws and washers that are provided. Now make sure that the ridges on the crossbar are pointing down. If the ridges are pointing up, it could later cause the fan to wobble. If the wiring box is not flush and level with the ceiling line, you may have to make some adjustments to make sure that it is. If it's not level, again, the fan may wobble. Feed the electrical wires from the ceiling through the hole in the center of the crossbar as Bob has done, and tighten the screws firmly. Once the crossbar is installed, pull on it to make sure the box is tight to the ceiling joist. Next, install the canopy. Using 3 long screws, attach the canopy to the crossbar and tighten it snugly against the ceiling. Now snug up each screw one at a time so that they all have about the same tension on them. This is a critical step because loose canopy screws may lead to a fan that wobbles. Before installing the motor, write down the model and serial number in the owner's manual and on the sales receipt for future reference. After completing this very important step, inspect the fan for any damage. Make sure that the black rubber flywheel is not rubbing against the housing. This might indicate that there is some shipping damage. Should there be damage, your Casablanca dealer can help get it corrected. Pay particular attention to the black ball on the top of the fan. It should be absolutely tight against the shaft and should not move. If it's loose, tighten the small Allen screw and make sure it's tight. Now, this is important because if the ball is not tight, there may be wobble when the fan operates. Now, as you can see, Casablanca provides extra wire for those installations where an extension pole is going to be used. Since our installation doesn't need that much wire, we will cut the wire so that about 8 inches is extending beyond the black ball. Well, I recommend you go ahead and strip about a ½ inch of insulation off each of the wires while it's on the floor, rather than trying to do this while the fan is hung. Next, lift the fan and carefully place the black ball inside the canopy. Once you get it centered, it should drop into place. Now rotate the ball so the slot on the side of the ball engages the pin at the back of the hang-true canopy. Again, this is important to avoid any wobble problems later. Now, using the wire nuts provided, simply connect the wires. Connect the fan white wire to the outlet white wire. Next, connect the fan black wire to the black wire from the ceiling wiring box. Now connect the green wire of the fan to the green wire of the crossbar and the copper ground wire from the outlet box if one is available. With all the connections made, carefully turn the wire nuts around and push the wiring inside the canopy. No wires should be exposed on the outside. Double check your work and make sure that nothing is loose. The fan should be free to swing in the canopy, but the canopy should be firm against the ceiling. If everything appears okay, it's time to install the canopy hatch cover. Using the 4th canopy screw provided, you'll need to tilt the fan slightly while you're doing this. With the firm tightening of the canopy hatch screw, the installation of the fan motor assembly is completed. Next, we're going to install the blades, but first we must very carefully open the blade box. Too often, a knife is used to open the side of the box and you end up with a scratch down the middle of a blade. Carefully open the ends with a knife or scissors and slide the blades out. Use the scissors to remove any protective film around the blades. Again, be careful not to scratch the blades. Now here's an important point to remember. At Casablanca, each set of blades is matched within 1 gram for uniform weight and balance. If you're installing 2 fans at once, make certain the blades and blade irons from one set are not mixed with those of another. Mixing blades and blade irons could lead to balancing problems. Once you've got the blade irons and blades assembled, it's time to install the blades on the fan flywheel. Make sure the screws are going in straight and tighten them firmly. Some fans may have different blade attachment methods, so be sure to follow the instructions that come with your fan. In general, 4-bladed fans use the flywheel holes with square counterbores. 5-bladed fans use the flywheel holes with round counterbores. Once the blades are installed, give them a manual spin to make sure they are turning freely. After mounting any glassware and installing the light bulbs, the mounting of the fan itself is finished. It's time to install the wall control. With the main power off, remove the wall plate and the wall switch. If the switch uses the push-in wiring method, you may need to cut the wires and re-strip them to expose about a ½ inch of wire. With the old switch out of the wall, install the IntelliTouch wall control using the same 2 wires. Connect either wire from the wall control to either wire in the wall switch box. If you're able to determine which switch box wire goes to the fan, connect it to the black wire with the white stripe marked as LD on the back of the IntelliTouch control. After connecting both wires, carefully push the wall control into place and secure it with 2 mounting screws. I suggest you don't install the cover at this point because you may need to come back and reverse the 2 wires if the control doesn't work properly. Okay, you've got the fan installed and you've got the wall control installed. It's time to double check your work. And when you're certain everything has been done correctly, it's time to turn on the main power. Let's check the operation of the wall control. Push the power button to turn power on in the IntelliTouch wall control. Push and release the light button. If the light comes on, everything is working fine. If the fan comes on instead, however, the control wires will need to be reversed. To correct the problem, turn off the main power, pull the wall control from the wall and reverse the wiring connections. Then reinstall the control and turn the main power back on. To check to see if the problem is corrected, push and release the light button and the light should come on. It's that simple. To continue checking the operation of the IntelliTouch control, push and release the light button again. The light should go off. If you want the light to be less than full on, turn the light off and push and hold the light button. You'll notice the light gradually goes up in brightness. Stop at the brightness you want. Now, when you turn the light off and back on, the light will come back on at the same brightness. You can change the brightness setting at any time by simply turning off the light and pushing and holding the light button. The fan works essentially the same way. There are 6 fan speeds. With the fan off, push and hold the fan button and the fan speed will gradually increase. Each one of the 6 speeds is announced by its own audio tone to help you find the speed you desire. When it gets to the speed you like, simply release the button and the fan will run at that speed. If you turn the fan off, then back on, the fan will come on at the speed you had previously set. To reverse the fan, simply push both the fan and light button together and release. The fan will smoothly reverse with an audio tone to indicate the change in airflow direction. By the way, we generally recommend downward airflow for summer cooling and upward airflow for winter heat recirculation and destratification. The IntelliTouch is particularly helpful for destratification because it offers 2 very slow speeds which can recirculate air gently without creating a draft. Well, so far we have assumed that your installation went well and the fan is ready for operation. But we know that's not always the way the real world goes, so here are a few problems you might see. The most common problem you may encounter is the fan which appears to have no power. Begin with the circuit breaker or fuse box. Is the circuit breaker tripped or is the fuse blown? If everything else is okay, we suggest that you next check the wiring at the canopy. Because it's a cramped area, sometimes the wire is not fully captured in the wire nut, so there's no connection. As with other electrical checks, make sure the circuit breaker is off before you do this. With Casablanca's downrod system, we occasionally see cases where the wires in the extension rod are cut by the through bolt. We recommend that an Allen wrench be used to guide the bolt to prevent this from happening. If the wires have been cut or nicked by the bolt, the wires must be replaced. While you're checking for this, also make sure the bolt is in the lowest hole on the top support of the fan. The problems we've just mentioned cover most of the no power problems you're likely to encounter. The next most common problem we find is one of balance or wobble when the fan is running at high speeds. I think we all know that anything that rotates needs to be balanced, whether it be a jet engine, an automobile tire, or even the motor in a Mixmaster. Because it's impractical to ship a ceiling fan completely assembled, we rely on precision manufacturing and careful matching of blade and blade iron components to assure smooth operation. After installing a fan, we strongly suggest that you run the fan from low speed to high speed in both directions before you consider the job finished. There will typically be a small amount of movement at high speeds, and this is usually not considered a problem. However, if the movement is excessive, then you're going to want to do something about it. By the way, if you try to run a fan without the blades, the rubber flywheel may look like it's out of balance because it's crooked or slightly lopsided. Don't worry about it. The weight of the blades after installation will correct the problem. But let's suppose you do have a fan with some wobble. Check the blade irons first to see if they are bent or deformed. This is most easily seen by slowly rotating the fan by hand while viewing the blades from their ends. If a blade iron is bent or deformed, the entire set of blade irons must go back to the dealer for exchange. Casablanca matches each blade iron set within 1 gram, so don't try to just replace a single blade iron. It will only make matters worse. Next, check the blades. An extreme change in humidity up or down may cause a blade to warp. A warped blade develops a twist, which you can see by viewing the blade on end. The blade may curve over its full length. A little bit of warp usually won't cause a problem and is hardly noticeable, but if there is a substantial amount of warpage, then the entire set needs to be replaced. Again, blades are carefully matched by Casablanca and are only sold in matched sets, so plan to replace the entire set, not just a single blade. If the light fixture is loose, it too can contribute to wobble. If the fixture is loose, tighten it and try the fan again. One of the important features Casablanca has added to eliminate wobble is the hang-true canopy. To be effective, the canopy must be absolutely tight against the ceiling. If the canopy is loose, the installation must be corrected. Check the ceiling wiring box. If it's not mounted rigidly, the hang-true canopy will be loose. In general, a loose wiring box means future problems. If the wiring box is secure, make sure the crossbar is carefully centered and secured against the junction box, with the strengthening ribs pointing down. An important feature of the Casablanca mounting system is the hang-true ball. The nylon ball must be fully seated in the canopy with the alignment knots fitted to the groove. As the fan is lifted and rotated slightly, you can see what happens when the ball is not properly seated. With a slight push, the fan will rock back and forth in the canopy. When the ball is dropped back into its proper alignment, the rocking stops. Now, while we're talking about the hang-true ball, take a look at the top of the assembly. You'll see there's a pin through the mounting rod. This pin can drop into several alignments. Double check the location of the set screw and make sure the pin is at a 90-degree angle to it. If it's not, it can allow the fan to rock slightly, causing wobble. Here's a word of caution for our customers installing 2 Casablancas at the same time. Please remember, Casablanca carefully matches the weights of all blades in each blade set. Often, when we get a report of a fan wobble caused by blade weight, we find that 2 or more fans have been installed in the home at the same time. What happens, of course, is that the blade boxes and blade iron bubble packs have been opened at the same time, and the blades and blade irons from each set are mixed. Unfortunately, if that happens, there's not much that can be done, except to return the blades and blade irons for all new sets. So please open the blade packs one at a time, and be sure to keep each blade set and blade iron set separate. If you're having a wobble problem on a fan using an extension pole, recheck its installation. On occasion, extension poles don't get pushed all the way down onto the top support. Instead, they are secured through the top hole of the support instead of the bottom hole. You must use the bottom hole, and you must tighten the through bolt very tight to make sure there is no motion between the top rod and the top support of the fan. This must be a rigid assembly when the job is done. Well, as you can see, our installation went well without problems. We hope yours will go just as smoothly. Before you finish, please staple the sales receipt into the owner's manual for future reference. We're sure this Casablanca will provide many years of faithful service and comfort. And once the homeowner experiences the comfort of a Casablanca in one room, they will want one for other rooms as well. And Casablanca has a size and style for virtually any setting. So see your Casablanca dealer when you're ready for that next fan purchase. Thanks for watching, and thanks for choosing a genuine Casablanca ceiling fan. Casablanca invented many of the techniques that are used to keep ceiling fans quiet. For the next few minutes, I hope to pass on to you a little of what we know about bothersome noise in ceiling fans, and how many complaints can be quickly cleared up. Surprisingly, most complaints can be traced to loose glassware in the light fixture. Before looking for more complicated solutions, first tighten all the screws and mounting hardware in the light fixture to see if that solves the problem. If the problem is not in the light fixture, check for a loose fan housing. Tap the fan housing with your finger to see if it rattles. If it does, look for missing or loose acorn nuts on the top of the fan. Occasionally you'll find a flywheel that is rubbing on the switch housing or light kit. We call this a dropped flywheel, and it shows itself in several ways. For example, the motor may sound like it's running, but the blades are barely moving. You can't replace a flywheel in the field, but you should be able to reposition the flywheel and tighten the set screw. First, remove a blade and blade iron assembly near the set screw and loosen the set screw all the way.